Well, hello everybody, this is Keys94 and welcome to another episode of Explore Keys94 here on YouTube. I am on Sussex Drive here, and over there is the French Embassy, and just down there somewhere is 24 Sussex Drive, which is the former residence of the Prime Minister currently. So without further ado, let's go on an adventure along Sussex Drive here and maybe find some geocaches along the way. So stick around, let's go on an adventure. So the plan today is to explore this side of Ottawa. It's an area that I've actually not been to yet in my travels here. So we're going to look for some geocaches on site and see what other cool historic landmarks we can come across along this neat area of the city. So over here we have what appears to be the South African Embassy right across the road from 24 Sussex Drive. High Commission for the Republic of South Africa. Looks like they're doing some work in the yard there. Huh. That is a statue of Queen Elizabeth II, the monarch that was prior to King Charles III. All right, so here we are at the residence of 24 Sussex Drive. The last Prime Minister to live here was Prime Minister Stephen Harper. He was Prime Minister from 2006 to 2015. Since then, the house has kind of come into disrepair. And now the residence for the Prime Minister is a place called Rideau Cottage, which is actually not very far from here, just on the grounds of where Rideau Hall is, which we are going to also explore in this episode. It's very hard to see. It's obviously guarded by a lot of gates and security, but that is where Stephen Harper lived between 2006 and 2015. Obviously, if the Prime Minister loses the election, he or she has to move onward to other pastures. The leader of the official opposition lives at a place called Stornoway. I actually don't know where that is in Ottawa. I'm sure I could look that up. But yeah, this is the main gates, and obviously a whole lot of security over there, which makes absolute sense. But yeah, cameras everywhere, including this one. There are currently plans to renovate 24 Sussex Drive, but the price tag was said to have cost about $100 million, so that became very politically unpopular. But that place is still looking at getting some renovations. It just might be perhaps a cheaper version of that $100 million renovation. Somebody really important must live in here, because they even blocked out the grates in the fence. Interesting. The thing I noticed a lot about Ottawa, there's a lot of cycling around here. Cycling is really popular in the city. It's a very pretty flat city, so to be expected, but it is interesting because I almost see more bikes in Ottawa than I've ever seen in Vancouver on the weekend that I've been here. I don't know if it's just me, but Ottawa's a very bikeable city. Yeah, this area does not have very good crosswalks. In fact, their crosswalks are basically non-existent here. So we're gonna have to find a way to get across over to our next stop, which is Rideau Cottage and Rideau Hall. So on initial impression, this area looks so nice, so green, and apparently very walkable. I think we have a vehicle coming. Oh, no, okay. It's not a motorcade. So somewhere along these grounds is a virtual cache that has to do with Rideau Hall itself. So we're gonna head over there and see if we can tackle it. It looks like a pretty easy one. So just over there, we have a totem pole that was carved by Mungo Martin from the Kwakwaka'wakw people on the Pacific coast of BC. We have actually quite a good representation of West Coast Indigenous art here, which I always love seeing. Kind of shows how united our country is, as far as, me being maybe 3,000 kilometers away from BC, but yet we still have recognition of British Columbia Indigenous art. It's pretty cool. Okay, so I just noticed something here, and perhaps there's a theme here, but a lot of the trees here were planted by elected representatives from different countries. So just came across this tree here. This tree was planted by Chaim Herzog, President of Israel, on June 27th, 1989. And it's growing. What about this one over here? Let's take a look. And this tree was planted by His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh on October 10th, 1951. And if I'm not mistaken, the Duke of Edinburgh was Prince Philip, and he passed away at the age of 99. So he planted this tree. Very cool. All right, folks, here we are at Rideau Hall. This place is pretty important as it is the residence of the Governor-General of Canada. It is also the location of where Parliament gets sworn into office, where all of the big ceremonies happen after an election, when MPs are sworn in and Prime Minister sworn in. A whole bunch of important things happen as far as initiating a cabinet, a government, and a lot of swearing in goes on in that building. This is also the location of where a few times the Prime Minister would come out and do press conferences, especially after the cabinet was sworn in. There were a few times where I could actually, it's funny, I recognized those two huts over there during a press conference I was watching on, I guess it was CBC, Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. Yeah, it's really interesting being here in person because I'm like, oh yeah, I remember seeing that on TV. Oh, I remember seeing that on TV. Oh, cool. And we're finally here. And there's even a water fountain on site. And this is something you don't see on official news cameras, but there is a water fountain here. So of course, I cannot forget to remember but there is a virtual cache here. So, of course, I'm always distracted filming. But we got my answers down for it. I believe that there is a plaque that I have to find and take a picture of myself, prove that I was here. Other than that, it's a pretty straightforward virtual. Just a nice, easy selfie. And I gotta say, I kind of like the fact that this is such an open park for everybody to enjoy. Because really, it could also just be another really high-guarded residence that, only dignitaries can see. But it's open for everybody, all Canadians, everybody. There's a cricket match going on right now. And, yeah, kind of a nice little spot to hang out. Okay, so there's another waypoint associated with that virtual, so I'm not going to forget, but we did end up walking past it on the approach to Rideau Hall. So I'm just going to keep walking down here and see what else we can see. Apparently this is near the area of Rideau Cottage where our current Prime Minister lives, Mark Carney. I don't know if he's out and about today. He's probably out securing another trade deal somewhere. He has some pretty good living areas around here, gotta say. In fact, I'm pretty sure that closely guarded fence there, I'm pretty sure that's Rideau Cottage. All right, I was just told to turn back, so somewhere over there is where the Prime Minister lives. Beautiful willow trees here. More cobra chickens. They'd be out drinking puddles. They'd be out eating grass. Doing stuff that cobra chickens do. All right. Well, here's a very regal tree planted by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, 2002, during her royal visit to Canada to commemorate Her Majesty's Golden Jubilee on October 14th, 2002. 2002. Still a little bit small, but I'm sure it's looked after well. Wow. Cool. So Nelson Mandela planted this tree, President of the Republic of South Africa, September 24th, 1998. Nelson Mandela was here. Cool. Okay, folks, so just around here is the brass plaque that you need to answer the second question on that Rideau Hall virtual. Just around here somewhere, it's kind of in there. So make sure to get the answer down for that one if you are, in fact, geocaching around here. Just inside this gate here, near the visitor center. So with that historical location visited, let's head on over and see if we can find a geocache nearby, a physical geocache, hopefully just down the road here on Sussex Drive. Sorry, I stand corrected. This is actually Princess Avenue. So let's go down here. Yeah, I was thinking to myself, if you're a gate company, probably make a good sum of money making all these gates, all these fences. Cars be turning, but we going up here. All right, folks. Into the Ottawa woods we go. Gotta watch out for that. So apparently the geocache is in here somewhere, allegedly. Cut down a lot of trees recently, or blow down or something. But going off-road here. And this fancy schmancy touring of fancy buildings. We're now in the woods where there will likely be ticks. And you know what? I'm gonna do something that may look really dorky, but it might save me from Lyme disease, eventually. I'm gonna tuck my pant legs, my pants into my socks, and I just so happen to have some really zany socks on right now. They look really dorky. Check it. But we're going into country here, and I do not want to get bitten. I know that I'm supposed to put tape around, the socks so they don't, they don't climb up any further and they get stuck on the tape, but yeah, I look like a clown. Anyway, but the geocache is in here somewhere. Okay, 10 meters here. I actually don't know if I overshot it, so I think we might be. I'm just gonna try to put my backpack above the ground because that's where the ticks are. So, I think it's dropping around here. Where could the cache be? Oh, what's this? I see a glass jar. I don't know if it's actually the geocache. Weird. I don't think that's it. No, it's just some weird, like, algae covered jar. I don't see anything there. Interesting. Okay, so contrary to what I thought the cache was actually hanging in a tree. Turns out it is down here. But I just want to turn your attention to one of our friends that is guarding the cache. Oh my god, that is a spider, folks. Gonna just, kindly and respectfully come in here and politely take the cache from this Mr. or Mrs. Spider. Container's a bit broken here, but that is a geocache, folks. Out we go. without looking too suspicious. Don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious. All right, up through this trail here. On this trail is a letterbox geocache that was placed in 2002. So great for the Jasmer grid. For those who are familiar with the Jasmer grid, there aren't that many caches around these days that were placed in 2002. So finding one that's still out here, still in the wild, we're gonna go up here, hopefully find it. Also fill in a spot on my letterbox calendar grid. Woohoo. All right, so I don't think there's anything too special with this type of letterbox. I think it's just located at the posted coordinates. Don't have to do anything special with it. So I'm gonna head down here and see if we have any luck. Yes, I will check myself for ticks later today, because you never know. This is Eastern Canada and lots of ticks. Teeming with ticks. Really ticks me off, you know? I think I know where it might be, actually. I think it's down here. I saw this from the trail. I was like, I'm gonna do a little see if I'm right thing. I'm not gonna navigate to it. I'm just gonna walk straight to where I believe this is the site of the letterbox cache, placed in 2002. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong, but I see a very suspicious rock hiding potentially the geocache. Maybe? Maybe? Interesting location for cache. Kind of cool, like, rock formations here. Okay, well, I guess I should find out where exactly this geocache is. Perhaps I'm really completely wrong, because it's saying 31 meters, so. Okay, I think we have to just kind of use the arrow to navigate. Yeah, thought so. Well, looky here. Perhaps I was thinking of a larger, rotten, hollow log. Here we are. A letterbox from 2002. Damn. Nice. All right. Let's go ahead and sign this bad boy. Gotta say, the woods in Ontario are kind of neat. Like, in summertime, they are super green. But come fall, they become this amazing array of red, orange, and yellow. Any deciduous tree changes color, and it's beautiful. Some of my longtime subscribers might remember a time that I went to Nova Scotia with Randy in November, and even then, there's still some red, orange, and yellow. That's amazing in the trees. Though around November, that's when the fall colors get a little bit more dull. Understandably. I guess we're going the right way. You have to go this way. We have to find a way to get around. Wouldn't it be funny if, see, our Prime Minister is a bit of a jogger. I imagine that he, probably goes for runs around here. He's so funny if I ran into him. Don't think so, though. Well, beyond this construction site is a beautiful view of the Ottawa River here. And actually, my geography is a little bit messed up here. This, I believe, I think we're looking at Quebec. I see a gigantic Catholic church with a huge steeple. And my mind is thinking that's the Quebec side of the water. Though I'm not sure. I'll check my map here. So, yes, can confirm what we were looking at here is Quebec. Looks like a very nice driveway down there. It looks like a pretty cool waterfront. Well, I made it down to the water here, and unfortunately, water level is rather high. I have a feeling the cache is on that pipe over there. I'm not gonna risk it, but interesting spot. I'll get a drink of water here, but I think that's where the cache is. Unless it is placed closer to us. Yeah, I don't think I'm going over there. Just don't feel like getting my feet not just wet, but super dirty, and I don't know what's in this water. Probably will have to be for another day. Yeah, the water's really high. I don't know if this is normal or what, but wow. This will have to be for a next time, I think. Yeah, so close but yet so far. I don't want to step on a nail or whatever, so play it safe. I'll come back next time. I know that there will be a next time when I will be in Ottawa, for sure. All right, fast forward to me over at the Via Rail station here in Ottawa. Long time ago, back in 2017, I took a train from here to Montreal, and I was there for a day, and it was pretty cool. Very fast route. It was probably about 2 hours. I got there, did some exploring, and then came back here. It was fun. I'm pretty sure this is an area where the tourists do not go. I got, some LRT lines here, some office buildings, a freeway, and maybe some hotels like way down there. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm like the only British Columbian for quite a fair distance. All right, so geocaching's brought us to this footbridge over the Rideau River here. Nice, peaceful river. A nice geocache on a bridge. I believe it is right in here somewhere. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So, one of these caches we just have to be kind of stealthy about because it's a very public bridge. But here we go. All right, back I go to the LRT. Well, folks, that is a wrap for this episode of Explore with Keys 94 here on YouTube. I want to thank you all so much for coming along on this adventure with me to Ottawa, Ontario. We checked out Rideau Hall and Sussex Drive and some really beautiful green areas in between. If you do like what you saw on this episode, hit that subscribe button because it keeps you in the loop for what is to come next on this channel. So until next time, happy adventuring and happy exploring.